It appears that we now have a space force, a space corps, or like some news outlets have been saying, a space corpse. Not sure if that means that we have a bunch of bodies floating in space, but let's cue the music. Hey, this is your Pally Wally, Manny Moonraker, and welcome to UFO Report number 110. And we have for you, because I'm sure you saw this already before, because everyone's talking about it, the memes are going crazy. We have news about President Trump, Trumpy, the Trumpster, the Trumpinator, his Space Force, or corpse, depending on what news outlet you are reporting this from. And for this episode, we also have a NUFORC report. And it really is, I was doing this before last year, reading these reports. And today I decided, let's not make it all about Trumpy and Space Force. Let's talk about something else, something that's going on in ufology. Because there were no UFO reports really out there as far as news articles to look at. But I said, let's go to NUFORC. Well, honestly, I stopped at MUFON first, but that was bananas. So I said, screw you, MUFON, screw you. I went over to NUFORC, and half the stuff was either they were probably high on something, or, like the one I selected, it sounds like they were in the middle of writing a novel when they saw the UFO, and somehow their prose kind of just worked itself into the report. But let's just talk about something else real quick before we get started with the first news report. And that is the fact that the podcast awards are starting on July 1st. Yeah, there is such a thing, believe it or not, podcast awards. And apparently this is the 13th year. I did see it last year, but it was too late for UFO Buster Radio to enter. And plus, people were half and half. They liked us, they hate us, they liked us, they hate us. They hate us because they ain't us. And they hate us because they ain't us. So whether it's an anus or the anus, it's all the same thing. Basically, we just didn't enter. This year, we're going to enter. Voting starts July the 1st, and it runs through July 31st. The link is in the description. However, you cannot vote until July 1st. You are free and welcome to visit the website and get that little message that says you cannot do that. But you can see who's won in the past, because they have a list of those. And sorry, rubber dickers. If you won before, you cannot win again. So, UFO Buster Radio, loser number one when it comes to ufology, we're putting our name in the hat this year. So, starting July 1st, you can go to podcastawards.com. I have the link in the description. And under the category of news and politics. And why is it news and politics? Because most rubber dicking awards do not have paranormal and ufology listed in it. And because most of these episodes right now are about the UFO news report, guess what? We are going to go into news and politics because no fucks were given when we selected that. So keep that in mind. The link is there. I'll probably send out a reminder through social media. So if you want to follow me and stay up to date of when you can bum rush this website and kill it with nominations for UFO Buster Radio under the category of news and politics, you can follow me on Twitter at UFO Buster Radio, on Instagram at Manny Moonraker, and on the Facebook pages UFO Buster Radio and Manny Moonraker. And you know what? Just for shits and giggles, I'll probably put that also on UFOBusterRadio.com. But you gotta follow me. Also, Google Plus Manny Moonraker. Just follow me. So that way you know when to do, when to get in there. Because, we need to make ufology great again. And you can nominate me as your next president for that exact thing. One last thing. I'm working this week on the Levelland documentary. I caution you guys, this is the first one. This is documentary numero uno. Don't expect Steven Spielberg. don't expect me to look like Stephen Greer. I'm not going to cry, but that might be a good trick. I might just cry during this documentary to keep you guys coming in for more. That might be what I'll do. I'll just crocodile tears. I can do that because I used to live in Florida, so I know what having crocodile tears are all about. I might do that. Little special effects. I might cry for you guys during the Levelland report. But anyway, that's what I'm working on. A Levelland documentary that's going to go into YouTube. And what can I say? It's a moonraker way, if I can get that out. And basically, it's not going to be anything you're used to other than listening to this podcast, basically. So we'll see what happens. But let's go to the first news report, and it's about our buddy, number one person in politics today, President Donald Trump.
Let's say China.
Oh boy, there he goes.
China.
There he goes.
China.
We didn't say China.
China.
No. President Trump, no. We didn't say China.
China.
Ah, shit.
China. I go to China.
We just gotta let him go. Just let him go. Just let him finish.
I love China.
Let him
People
finish.
think I don't like China. I love China. China is the new China, by the way. China. I deal with China. China. Big league China. So don't tell me about China. I know China.
China. Whether it's China.
So if you went to China and you wanted to get a job in China,
I don't knock China. How could I dislike China? A man from China. You have China. Carl, take China. China. People say, oh, you don't like China. I like China. I love China. China all the time. China. When was the last time you heard
Anyway, let me.
China?
You can't get the guy started about China. He just got this thing about China. It's crazy. I don't even think he uses dishes at home because people call it China. Probably uses paper plates. I don't know. But anyway, this story kind of takes off where at the end of last year, we had that one report regarding a senator, Mike Rogers of Alabama. Now, Mike Rogers last year apparently felt that we needed some presence in space. And at that time, he did propose, basically, him and Jim Cooper of Tennessee, legislation to create an independent space corps that would operate under the Department of the Air Force. Now, even back then, there was a debate of whether or not the Space Corps, or if you report for some other news media, Space Corps, would be basically a part of the Air Force. Now, there was other conversation around that time that maybe each single branch of the military should have their own Space Corps. So basically, the Army would have one, the Navy would have one, and Lord knows they need one because that Tic Tac video is shit all over the Navy. And, the Air Force would have one and so forth. But apparently, President Donald Trump, decided that he was going to create a branch of its own under the Space Force or Space Corps. And that would be branch number 6. Now, the document that he signed recently will establish that particular branch of the military. There's still some talk of whether or not this is really the way it's going to go. So the memes went crazy. I mean, they have memes of him looking like Darth Vader with a bunch of stormtroopers behind him. It's all kind of stuff going on right now. He's got Chewbacca with him. But the thing is that this came at a time where there was a meeting for the National Space Council. And when he signed this policy directive, so-called Directive number 3, not like Mumble number 9, basically, the directive itself deals with space debris and space traffic control. And it pretty much tells the Department of Defense that they need to get with it, get their freaking ducks in a row, get their shit in order, and find a way to track these objects in orbit. And it should in some way incorporate commercial tracking services. So, the Trumpster, he's a businessman. So he's saying, fuckers, you can't do it by yourself. Get commercial companies to come in here, help you out, track all this nonsense that's in space, and do something about it. So there you go. That's what it's really about. Now, we know from the man named Stephen Bassett that only a liberal president will be able to bring disclosure, because when he heard that Donald Trump won, he pretty much said, OMG, FML, there's no way we're going to get disclosure now. Let's all turn to Vladimir Putin, because Putin is the one who's going to give us the information we need. Besides the fact that that makes him a traitor, and he really should have moved as soon as that left his lips and stayed in Russia. It makes no sense. I don't think political affiliation is what disclosure is going to be about. It'll probably be more about the almighty dollar and who is going to basically make the most out of disclosure. But in this case, this really has nothing to do with disclosure. It all has to do about creating this so-called Space Corps force, giving a public persona to what many people already know is happening behind closed doors. And that is that there is a space-faring part of the military that has its own little re-entry vehicle, and some might even say that has triangular-shaped crafts that are already going through the debris and beyond. But for this case, no, we're not going to see Hillary Clinton walking around with 2 big cinnamon rolls on the sides of her heads, dressed in a white dress. And unfortunately, Bill is not going to be walking around with a lightsaber looking for cigars. To light. You guys, your mind went to the wrong place. But that's what it is right now. The link for the entire story out of Popular Mechanics is in the description for the show. So check it out. I did put one of the memes as the logo for the show because Donald J. Trump will make the galaxy great again.
Hey guys, this is Marty Angler from Angling Waters Outdoors, and you're listening to my pally, Manny Moonraker, right here on UFO Plus Radio Network. Hey Manny, you know why I fish at night? Can you say UFO? UFO. That's right.
Alright, so now it's time for the NUFORC Report. And let me tell you, I went to MUFON first. And I couldn't find anything really to read that made any sense. It really seemed like everyone was sitting outside with a bong and they saw things. They saw things just floating around. But then I came across this one on NUFORC. The title for this sighting is basically this: high, bright, round, white light. Excellent video clip. Mind you, there was no clip on this. Somebody stole it, or whoever this was doing whatever they were doing neglected to attach it. But this report, this incident, occurred June 13th. And it occurred in Canada, Oshawa, Canada to be exact. And here's how it reads. Today, June 13th, 2018, while outside on my deck in Oshawa, Ontario, having tea and smoke. I don't know what kind of smoke this is, but there was something in it. Or there was something in the tea. There was something in something. But anyway, I continue. Looking about in the sky, please note that we just had a thunderstorm a couple hours earlier, so the patches of blue sky were quite clearer than normal, about 20 minutes, looking about mostly west, north, and south. So basically, wherever the fuck you looked at, there was blue sky. Why can't they just say that? Why can't they say the storm went by, everything looks fucking blue? It would have been easier. Let me continue. Notice very high in the sky directly west over neighboring Whitby, Ontario, looked some miles away west. A very bright round white light, not to be confused with the sun, appeared to be moving across the sky. Instantly, I grabbed my camera beside me on the table, looked into the camera eye viewer, and started to film it. Appears to be racing towards the clouds. Apparently, NUFORC does not put periods in these reports, so I have no idea where the hell to stop. I'm just reading as it is. Looked in the camera eye viewer and started to film it. Appears to be racing towards the clouds, as well as going through the clouds. Really illustrates its brightness of the entire object. Is this guy talking about the damn sun? Could it be that the sun played peekaboo through some clouds? I think it happens all the time, doesn't it? Then while I lost view of this unknown, in our above the clouds, please note that also the clouds were moving quite fast from west. I cannot be sure if truly this bright light could have been stationary. Though just for verification, waited 10 to 15 minutes for some clear patches of blue in the same area of the sky. Could not see anything further, so hence maybe it was not stationary. Brilliant deduction, Mr. Watson. As mentioned, have seen two other sightings June 9th at 9:44 a.m. and also June 11th near 7 p.m. because the sun usually hangs out around that time. Two bright unknowns side by side witnessed both these things have been photographed, while later filed these two other reports with still shots for both. Thanks again. I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. Bright object moving across the sky, playing peekaboo through clouds where there would be blue patches of sky. Fuck my life. Could this have been the sun? Can some... I don't know. I feel like we solved this for this person here. I think he saw the sun. I think the sun was playing peekaboo with him. The shape of the object was a circle. Holy shit, what the hell was in his tea and his smokes? I mean, really. I can't go any further with this. This is basically where it all ends right here. I'm sorry, Mr. Ontario. The sun fucked with you that day, and apparently on two other days. One of those other days, it might have been the moon that shit in your parade. But whatever you're drinking, or whatever you're smoking, share some with the Moonraker, because I want to have some of these sightings myself. This is UFO Buster Radio, episode 110. Do not drink and post on NUFORC. It's very bad. It's very, very bad. And with that, ciao.